There exists a rare and elusive breed of men who never announce their departure with fanfare or confrontation. Instead, they fade quietly into background, their absence ringing louder than any shouted farewell or dramatic goodbye. These men are Sigma males, self-contained, emotionally sovereign individuals who move through life detached from the usual theatrics of love, loss, and longing. They possess a calm strength that is invisible yet undeniable, a presence felt deeply only after it is gone. Women often fail to grasp the true value of what they had until the Sigma male has completely withdrawn. This isn't because the Sigma male was flawless or perfect in every way, but because he was real in a world often filled with illusions and superficial performances. Unlike others who chase, plead, or perform to gain affection, the Sigma male loved from a place of inner completeness and authenticity, a love grounded in wholeness rather than neediness or dependency. When he chose to walk away, there was no hesitation, no backward glance. His departure was final, marked by a silence that spoke volumes. This phenomenon isn't driven by ego or desire for revenge. Instead, it represents a profound and irreversible shift, a turning point where a woman loses a man who never needed her presence to define himself but chose her nonetheless. His silence, far from a sign of weakness, becomes a deafening statement of his self-respect and boundaries. Within this quiet exit lie 12 brutal truths, harsh realities that explain why women come to deeply regret losing Sigma males. These truths linger long after man has moved on, echoing in the spaces he once filled, and reminding her of the rare and genuine connection that has slipped away forever. 1. He was already whole without her. The Sigma male's foundation is unshakable because, unlike many men who enter relationships seeking to fill voids, whether the need for validation, affection, or purpose, he comes into love already complete. His sense of self is not dependent on another person. It is whole and self-sustained before she appears, remains steady during a relationship, and endures even after she leaves. He never viewed her as a solution to his problems or a missing piece of his identity. He didn't revolve his life around her presence, nor did he collapse emotionally when the relationship ended. This intrinsic wholeness unsettles many women because they are accustomed to men who cling out of desperation, who smother with need and mistake it for love. The Sigma male's independence is a stark contrast to this norm. He grants space, respects freedom, and never begs for attention or affection. When she walked away expecting him to chase, he simply did not. Instead, he continued his journey, growing and evolving, untouched by the loss. Surrounded by men who depend on her for their sense of worth, she comes to a haunting realization. He was the only man who loved her from a place of strength, not desperation. 2. He never begged, which made his absence a silent punishment. When most men face the end of a relationship, they react with visible desperation, sending pleading texts, breaking down emotionally, or making public displays of heartbreak. The Sigma male refuses to participate in this drama. Instead, he quietly vanishes. There are no last words, no arguments, no spectacle, just a profound and deliberate silence. This absence acts as a silent punishment that is far more devastating than any outburst could be. For the woman left behind, this lack of closure is agonizing because it denies her the emotional release she might seek. Without a fight, she cannot manipulate the narrative to make herself feel justified or innocent. Without weakness, she cannot sue her own guilt or find a reason to soften her regrets. His absence is not merely an empty space. It is a deafening void that forces her to confront an uncomfortable truth. He didn't stay because he needed her. He stayed because he chose to. And when he left, it was not a breakdown but a conscious decision. 3. He didn't need her, and that's what made him irreplaceable. There is a paradox at the heart of desire when it comes to Sigma males. The less they chase, the more intensely they're desired. Their emotional independence is often mistaken for coldness, but in reality, it is an expression of profound strength. They do not seek validation from others, nor do they fear being alone. Their love is not born from insecurity or neediness. It is a conscious choice made from a place of self-assurance. This detachment is what makes them irreplaceable. For the woman who once shared his life, the presence of needy men surrounding her afterward only highlights what she lost. She realizes with bitter clarity that the one man who never begged, never clung, and never pleaded for her attention was the one she truly wanted. This revelation cuts deep because real love, as embodied by the Sigma male, is never about dependency. It is always about choice. For she can't replace him, only distract herself. No matter how many charming, funny, or successful men come into her life, none can match the profound depth of a Sigma male. His presence was unlike any other. He didn't offer empty flattery or easy compliments. Instead, he challenged her to be better and think deeper. He didn't rush into intimacy or demand quick emotional access. He earned trust and connection slowly, with intention. When he spoke, it wasn't just to fill silence or be heard. He communicated with purpose, seeking genuine understanding. This rare authenticity leaves her restless and unsettled, as every new face she meets falls short of the raw, unfiltered connection she once shared with a man who saw through her masks, refused to play games, and loved her enough to speak uncomfortable truths. 5. She got used to stability, and now chaos feels hollow. At first, his calm emotional stability felt almost dull to her. No dramatic fights, no jealous outbursts, no dizzying highs and lows. It was steady, predictable, and safe, which she mistook for boredom. But now, in the wake of his departure, she's left with a string of chaotic relationships filled with emotional whiplash. Men who love-bombed and vanished without explanation, gaslight her into doubt, then play the victim, and make her jump through hoops just to earn basic respect. Amidst this turbulence, she finds herself longing for the quiet peace she once took for granted. It's a painful revelation. She never understood that safety and emotional stability were luxuries until she lost them. 6. He was her wake-up call, not her comfort blanket. Unlike others who indulged her ego or nodded along to excuses, the Sigma male refused to coddle her. He didn't soothe the victim mentality or let her hide behind defenses. Instead, he challenged her to face uncomfortable truths, grow beyond her limitations, and become a better version of herself, even when it hurt. His honesty was not always easy to accept, but it was genuine and rooted in love. Now, surrounded by shallow praise and empty affirmations, she recognizes the rare gift she once had, a man who loved her enough to tell her the truth, pushing her toward growth rather than complacency. This realization lingers, marking him as a wake-up call she didn't know she needed, but now deeply misses. 7. He didn't flatter, he refined her. Unlike most men who hand out compliments like candy, offering shallow praise to keep things easy and comfortable, the Sigma male gave her something far more valuable: clarity. He didn't call her perfect to stroke her ego. Instead, he held her accountable, challenging her to see herself honestly and take responsibility for her growth. He didn't shy away from conflict or difficult conversations, but used those moments as opportunities to elevate her, pushing her beyond her comfort zone toward becoming a better version of herself. This was no simple affection. It was a transformative kind of love, and that's why she can't forget him. Deep down, she knows the truth. He didn't love her for who she was. He loved her for who she could become. 8. He moved on without revenge, and that hurt the most. When the relationship ended, he didn't resort to petty actions like blocking her on social media, stalking her online, or posting cryptic, hurtful quotes. Instead, he quietly moved forward, silently ascending beyond the drama she expected. He didn't dwell on bitterness or seek revenge. Instead, his focus remained unwavering on his own purpose, personal growth, and future. This calm, composed progression stung far more than any outburst could have because it demonstrated a strength she didn't anticipate. She expected him to crumble, to show pain or anger, but instead, he evolved and left her behind, rising above the turmoil with grace and resolve. 9. She realized too late. He never lied to her. The Sigma male was not harsh or cruel. He was brutally honest. He didn't sugarcoat difficult truths to spare her feelings, nor did he manipulate situations to serve his own needs. Instead, he spoke with raw sincerity, even when telling the truth cost him dearly. His honesty was a rare and precious gift, one that she only came to fully appreciate after he was gone. Now, surrounded by empty reassurances and comforting lies, she finds herself starving for the kind of truth he once offered freely. She regrets trading that raw honesty for sweet lies, a price she never imagined she would pay until it was too late. 10. He gave her mental freedom, not just emotional support. The Sigma male was not like other men who simply offered comforting words or reassurances that echoed what she already wanted to hear. Instead, he challenged her on a deeper level. He told her what she needed to hear, even when it was difficult or uncomfortable. His love wasn't just about providing emotional support or soothing her feelings. It was about liberating her mind from limiting beliefs, complacency, and illusions through his unwavering honesty and intellectual clarity. He awakened her to a new level of self-awareness and personal growth. Now, in his absence, she feels trapped, caught in the very mental and emotional constraints he helped her break free from. The freedom he granted was rare and transformative, and without it, she senses a suffocating void where her mind once soared. As she reflects on what she's lost, she realizes with haunting clarity, he didn't just love me, he awakened me. 11. She didn't lose a man, she lost her mirror. A Sigma male's love goes beyond the surface. It acts as a mirror reflecting back the truest version of who she is, even the parts she might have tried to hide or ignore. He doesn't simply love her for what she appears to be. He reveals her authentic self, holding up an unfiltered reflection that pushes her toward genuine self-discovery and growth. Now that he's gone, she finds herself surrounded by shallow substitutes. Fake smiles that mask insecurity, empty validation that feels hollow, and relationships that offer no meaningful progress or depth. This loss cuts deeper than just losing a partner. It's the loss of the one person who truly saw her beyond pretenses and facades, and who challenged her to become her real self. The absence of this mirror leaves an irreplaceable void, one that she cannot replicate or replace, making this loss not just painful but permanent. She doesn't just mourn the man, she mourns the loss of the clarity and self-awareness he brought into her life. 12. His silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. She often misinterpreted his silence as indifference or emotional detachment, believing that his quietness meant he didn't care. But in reality, his silence was a profound display of strength and intentionality. It was a calculated choice rather than a sign of weakness. Instead of engaging in fruitless arguments or trying to prove a point, he chose to quietly observe, taking the truth of the situation without wasting words or energy. When faced with disrespect or conflict, he didn't plead or beg for attention or reconciliation. He simply walked away, preserving his dignity and peace of mind. His energy was not squandered on futile battles, but carefully invested in his own growth and future. This silent strategy spoke volumes, conveying far more than any heated confrontation ever could. Now, as she struggles to move on, she realizes with painful clarity that his silence was never empty. It was a powerful lesson she failed to understand until it was too late. Final words: the Sigma male's lasting impact. To the Sigma males out there, it's important to recognize that your silence is not a weakness or flaw. It is one of your greatest strengths. It carries power, purpose, and intention, speaking volumes without the need for words. Your independence is often misunderstood as coldness or detachment, but in truth, it is the purest form of freedom. The freedom to be yourself without compromise or neediness. And to the women who let a Sigma male slip away, it's not just a man you lost. It's a standard, a rare benchmark of integrity, strength, and authenticity that you will spend years trying to find in others. Yet, that standard cannot be replicated or replaced. Men like him are not common, and they certainly don't come around twice. His impact lingers long after he's gone, leaving behind a void that no one else can fill. This is a lasting legacy of the Sigma male, a quiet dominance that changes lives, even in absence. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.